Turing Machine. So this is inspired, really. I mean, it's a copy basically of the very famous Eurorack module Turing Machine by Tom Whitwell, which is a really simple but elegant and fascinating device for generating new ideas. So I wanted to make a MIDI tool version of this, particularly because perhaps the biggest shortcoming of that device is that it doesn't quantize, or it doesn't obey any scale. Like there's no concept of a scale in it. But in Live, we have the scales. So I can, with this device, generate basically randomized melodies, but those melodies still stick within a scale. So if I I'm going to come over to the pitched instrument that I have here. And this is laid out very similarly to how the original device is laid out. We have these lights at the top that visualize the shift register. I'm not going to explain how the Turing machine works. If you'd like to know, you can watch videos. But basically, this big knob, usually as a starting point, you want to keep it in the center. If I press one of these three buttons, I'm going to add a bit into this 8-bit register here. If I click a 1, I'm going to add a sort of an on or an activated bit. If I click a 0, I'm going to add an off bit. And if I click an R, I'm going to click create a random one based on the position of this knob. If the knob is in the center, it's going to be completely random as to whether it's on or off. Based on that pattern, we will generate the shift register will generate both a rhythm as well as pitches. And basically the way that it does that is it uses the sort of binary representation of this as a number, which is a pitch, and then it also just uses this itself as a rhythmic pattern. So the way that you generate notes is by clicking these buttons. You can do it as I have been and kind of generate them one by one, or you can click this one and generate several in one fell swoop. And the number that you're generating is this length button here. You can also clear the register and start fresh if you want to. This knob, by turning it left and right, basically if you go to all the way to the right, I have to start with something. So let me clear and start with something. If I go all the way to the right, it's going to just keep producing that same result. But if I go slightly off of it, what it's going to do basically is create similar but not totally different, not similar variations. I should really use 16 here as the length, by the way, because we have a 16-step clip here with the grid. So as I get closer to the end here, the amount of variation each time I click the button will be slightly less. But again, there's randomness in there, so you can't totally control it. And then going the other way, it's similar, except it will, all the way to the left, it's going to like toggle between two states. And then slightly off of that, it's toggling between two states with a little bit of variation added in. The pitch section down here allows you to transform sort of what's happening in terms of the pitches. These weight sliders are a feature of I think like an add-on module for the Turing machine, and basically just messing with them will change kind of what pitches get made, and you can just mess with them. That's what I do. The range is basically how wide of an octave range are you going to get, and then the offset allows you to just like shift the whole thing up and down. And you notice like if I turn this knob, I don't actually immediately transform what's in the clip. You still have to click the button, just so you know. Because these control the data that goes into the shift register. So this one works pretty differently from the others, but I find it really fun just to mess around, try to get something that I can start with and then take that into a transformer. Let's hear a few things.